Hello, my name's Chris Chislett, and in this video for the Jacksonville Wine Guide I'm going to be talking about and tasting the Domaine Versauds. This is a Beaujolais from the Morgon appellation of Beaujolais, which is located in southern Burgundy, and I think that's kind of deceiving to a lot of people. Everybody has this idea of Burgundy being White Burgundy, at least being Chardonnay, Red Burgundy being Pinot Noir. This is a Beaujolais, which is the region. Gamay, G-A-M-A-Y, is the grape. And I think that's people's first big misconception about Beaujolais. Everybody thinks Beaujolais is the grape, at least the majority of people that I talk to think that Beaujolais is a grape. No, in fact, that's the actual place that it comes from. And Morgon, because it's a cru, is a smaller defined village, if you will, within Beaujolais, within the Burgundy region, within France. So the more specific, and this happens with a lot of different wines, is the more specific you get, really the more expensive you get. Now I bought this wine for $13.99 total wine here in Jacksonville, and when it comes to Beaujolais you really shouldn't be paying much more, ever really going over $20 a bottle retail. It's still at the lower end. I don't really see any reason to ever spend over $20 a bottle. But I think the other big misconception about Beaujolais is everybody has this idea of Beaujolais being, like nasty stuff that you find around Thanksgiving time, like Beaujolais Nouveau, which is just, bubblegummy, cheap, nasty, taste it there and it's just gone a second later. That's really not what Beaujolais is. That's supposed to give like a preview of the harvest. I've never really understood Beaujolais Nouveau myself. But this is at the higher end, which, if you find a good one, it should drink almost more like Pinot Noir. And your Beaujolais Nouveau and your just your general appellation Beaujolais is kind of down at the lower tier. The next step up would be Beaujolais village, or wine from several different, or maybe just one different Beaujolais village itself. And then the step up would be this, which is a Cru Beaujolais, Morgon in this case. There are 10 different villages that it can come from. Morgon is really probably one of the more well-known villages, certainly one of my favourite, because, as I just said, they tend to drink more like Pinot Noir, and I'm just not a big fan of the Cru Beaujolais. The Beaujolais Nouveau. Big fan of the Cru Beaujolais. And I actually just chilled this wine down for about 10 minutes, just brought the temperature down. Ideally you should be drinking Beaujolais just under 60 degrees, anywhere from like 54 to 60 degrees. So it's a good wine for warmer weather. With the weather being so warm outside, it's sometimes hard to drink red wine, and Beaujolais is a good, or Pinot Noir, sometimes is a good one to drink down if you can chill it just ever so slightly. It'll pull out the fruit a lot more, the strawberry raspberry taste in those kind of wines. Now Beaujolais goes through a little bit of a different process than most other red wines. It's this process called carbonic maceration. Carbonic maceration is a process that not a huge amount of wines go through. Pretty much all Beaujolais go through carbonic maceration. All it involves, at the very basic end of it, is pumping carbon dioxide, or CO2, into the fermentation tanks. And what that does is that really speeds up the fermentation, gets it going really quickly, yields juice that's just very fruit forward, low in tannin, high in acid, and that's your real kind of typical Beaujolais taste. Now if you do that process too much and to too high of a degree, you can just end up with, I don't know, really like the Beaujolais Nouveau kind of taste, that bubblegummy, sweet, just really thin type of wine. It's actually a very nice Morgon Beaujolais. I think the fact that I chilled it down a little bit helps out immensely. On the nose, would be typically what I expect of this type of wine. If somebody blind tasted me on this wine, I probably wouldn't pick out right at first that it is a Beaujolais. I'd probably point to French Pinot Noir, Burgundy, or from the south of France. Yields a bit of the like the forest floor kind of earthy kind of character, sour cherry, raspberry, if you will, a little bit of cranberry. But only after quite a bit of swirling do I can really pick up on the Beaujolais or Gamay type characteristics of this wine. Very easy drinking, medium finish. It's what I guess most people would consider a dry wine. It is dry. It doesn't have much tannin, but it does pull a lot of the water out of your tongue. Kind of leaves that drying sensation in your mouth. So yes, you could drink it as an aperitif or just, you know, outsidey, picnicky, patio type wine. Personally, I would prefer to see this wine with French food, traditional French food, casseroles, red meat, things of that nature. Maybe even like, I don't know, you can get into like salami and prosciutto. I think I need some meat or something to go with this. It's a very nice Beaujolais, and even though this is the Domaine Versauds Beaujolais, you don't necessarily have to pick this wine, which at $13.99, I think that's a great price for a Cru Beaujolais. But Morgon is the main name at the top there that you should be looking for. That is a standard village, if you will, that several producers produce under the Morgon name. So give this one a try. Don't have this big misconception about Beaujolais being just for the third Thursday in Thanksgiving. And also remember that Gamay, G-A-M-A-Y, is the actual name of the grape itself. There's no Beaujolais grape, there's no Morgon grape, it's all Gamay. So, cheers!